That's our entire life, and we are 100% behind you. How many Democrats do we have in this room? Raise your hand. Meaning they had always voted Democrat before.
The press.
All right, the press. Don't play it. Honestly, everywhere I've gone, I've heard from people. I've been a Democrat my entire life, and we're 100% voting for you guys, and it's amazing. Yes. And I am so proud of my father, the job that he's done. I sometimes feel like he's fighting the entire world. He's fighting the entire, maybe the greatest, political machine in modern history. He's fighting the entire mainstream media. He's fighting sometimes his own party, and it's. I promised him, and I will be by his side every second between now and November 8th, and we're gonna win, and we're gonna take this home. We're going to take back our country. And, it's so sad. I'm a total civilian like everybody in this room. I want really nothing to do with politics, and I'll probably never go into politics. But when I look at what's happened to this country, I've really become a massive believer in the message. And I always have been since day one, but it's so sad. We're a country that has $20 trillion worth of debt. We have an educational system in this nation that's ranked 30th in the world. We have reading comprehension in this country. And there's a beautiful little baby over there, right? I mean, they're going to bear the brunt of this, unfortunately. But we have reading comprehension in this country is ranked 34th in the world. Wow. Math skills is ranked 37th in the world. We have 95 million people in America that are out of the workforce. 95 million people in our nation that are out of the workforce. Median incomes in this country haven't gone up in 15 years, meaning people are making less money today than they were 15 years ago. The problem with that is not only are median income stagnant, but expenses have gone up. We're the highest taxed nation in the world. Obamacare has been a total disaster. It's cost everybody so much money.
Jeez, are people mad about that?
Utilities have gone up tremendously. Cost of living, groceries, everything else has gone up tremendously. Americans are making less money than they've ever made before. We've lost 1/3 of every manufacturing job in this country since Bill Clinton signed NAFTA. 1/3 of every manufacturing job have left our nation. We have a military that's at the lowest level of readiness in modern day history. I mean, we're flying bombers. We're flying bombers that were made in 1950. We're flying a B-52, which was made in 1950. We're flying fighter jets that were made 40 years ago, where you had a father fly the same very plane as his son is now flying, or his daughter's now flying. I mean, it's really unbelievable. I mean, we've totally been left behind. We have a Second Amendment that's totally under siege. We have oil and gas, which we have the greatest oil and gas reserves in the world under our feet, including here in Colorado. And look what happens. We're importing oil and gas from nations that dislike us. And then they take that money and they use it against us in the war on terror and so many other things at the behest of so many hardworking Americans who want those jobs here in our own country, where we do it better and we do it cleaner and we do it safer and we do it everything better than they are overseas. And we're not shipping oil and gas across the biggest oceans in the world. And the EPA has that totally under assault. Our businesses are under assault in this country, right? I mean, we have the highest taxes in the world. Obamacare has been a total disaster for businesses because it's really caused companies to lay off tremendous amounts of people because it's so expensive. We have regulations. I mean, I talk to farmers all over the country, and I talk to people all over the country that own small businesses. They go, I spend more time doing regulatory paperwork to operate my business than I do actually spend working on our business. And our businesses are under siege, and it's very, very sad. And our government is doing nothing about it. Our government should be working for the American people, and our government is working against the American people. And it's horrible. And guys, I can tell you, that's going to change. It's going to change. Hillary Clinton has been a politician longer than I've been alive. I'm kind of like an old millennial. I'm 33 years old. She's been a politician longer than I've been alive. My father said it best at the debate the other day. By the way, how great did he do at the debate? And he said, listen, where have you been for the last 35 years? You've been a politician for 35, 40 years. Where have you been? Why aren't these problems solved? I mean, why don't we have the greatest education? Why isn't America #1 in terms of education? Why isn't America, solvent? Why do we have $20 trillion worth of debt? Why do we have all the problems we have? And I can tell you the biggest eye-opening thing for me in this whole campaign was how bad the system is and how bad the special influences and the special interest in Washington, D.C., and the donors, and every single time you see one of the commercials that comes on TV, remember that's paid primarily by 20 people, and those people have complete and utter control over the United States government. And guys, with us, that doesn't happen. I mean, it will not happen. My father's put up close to $100 million of his own money to fund this campaign. He's not doing this because he needs to get beat up every single day, and I can tell you this process is amazing in one sense, and it's also incredibly tough. I mean, it's one of the toughest processes you can probably imagine. He's not doing this because he needs to get beat up every day. He's doing this because America has given us as a family everything. And these career politicians are literally just driving this country down the drain. And last but not least, we're going to restore respect back to America. And I'm a guy who spends a lot of time all around the world, working, doing other things. I spend just a lot of time around, and I've noticed the respect level that us as a nation receive having diminished tremendously. And I can tell you one thing that really influenced my father 2 weeks ago was when our president flew over to China. He landed in China, and they wouldn't even bring a staircase. And honestly, it's not funny. I mean, the problem is it's not funny. Like that's one of the great symbols of American might. It's one of the great symbols of us as a nation. This is Air Force One. It's traveled tens of millions of miles into so many conflict zones, into so many, places to sign treaties and other things. I mean, it's been the center of. It's really an iconic symbol of who we are as a nation. And to land in China and to have him walk out of the service entrance of Air Force One is not right. There was no staircase waiting. There was no red carpet. There was no marching band. There was nothing. And it's a disgrace. And you see the same thing with Iran. Here's a country that truly dislikes us. We give them $150 billion. And then they come on and they say, listen, America still owes us more money. And every single day they're tormenting our warships with their dinghies. And that's the level of respect that people have for our nation right now. And I can tell you that will change. If my father ever landed in China, I know the man probably better than anybody in the world. If he ever landed in China and there was no staircase waiting for him, he would grab the captain. He said, Captain, fuel up the plane. We're going back to Washington, D.C. He'd be out of there about 4 seconds later. Last but not least, I want to mention a quick comment that, and I see so many vets in this room, and thank you guys for your service. It means the world to you. We're going to take care of ISIS. It's just that simple. I had a great World War II vet come up to me the other day, an amazing man, and he goes, I fought in World War II, and we beat the Germans, and we beat the Japanese in a 4.5-year period of time. And we can't beat ISIS, and we've been fighting for them for the last 15 years. We can't beat terrorism, and we've been fighting them for the last year. And he literally was shaking his head, and I'll never forget that statement. I can tell you my father will be the toughest person in the world on ISIS. ISIS will not exist. He will unhandcuff the generals. He will let them do what they need to do because they will no longer pose a threat to us as a nation.
Talk louder, please.
Guys, I really truly appreciate it, and thank you so much for the love, and thank you to all the volunteers who are making so many calls. And yes, we're gonna do a lot of pictures. And by the way, who in here has made the most phone calls for us? Come up here. Come on. Thank you. Is she amazing or is she amazing? How many phone calls did you make?
Oh gosh, I was there at the phone bank when your father came in. I was still on the phone when he came. I said, I think he just walked in, and I'm like, and everybody just went up to your dad, and I was still on the phone.
So true story. I was at one of our phone banks yesterday, right? And I walk in the room, and it was set up like this, and we had this many people, and literally there was one person, and I started doing a little speech like this, and we all started talking. She kept on picking up the phone. She just kept on calling. I mean, she wouldn't stop calling. I go, no, you let her call. Like, but that's how devoted she was. Like, I don't think she probably slept in 3 days. I mean, it was just call after call after call. And guys, that's why we're going to win. I mean, that's why we're going to win. The enthusiasm we have for this campaign is unlike anything anybody's seen before. I mean, the enthusiasm, the movement. My father spoke in Pennsylvania. So many people probably saw the great little snippet of him with the beautiful little boy that dressed up like Donald Trump, right? He goes, "Do you want to hang out with me up on stage, or do you want to go back to your parents?" And the kid just speaks in the microphone. He goes, "Trump," you know. It was adorable. It was like the greatest. It was the greatest thing in the world. But you looked at that stadium. It was I think a massive hockey stadium or whatever it was. You look at that stadium. There's 25,000 people in that room. They were going crazy. I mean, you wouldn't see that at a concert, let alone a political event. And that's the movement we've started. We are civilians. We want our country back. We want to be represented by the people that we're paying. Our taxes are paying their salaries. They should work.
We're on the right side of history.
We are on the right side of history. And guys, we're going to win this. We are absolutely. And I am so honored to be here, and I thank you so much for the love and the friendship and the support. It truly means the world to us, and we're going to get this thing. Get everybody out to vote. Ballots are coming very, very soon. Make sure everybody's registered. We are going to win this thing, and we're going to make America great again. So thank you guys so much. Why don't we do a great picture up here? Come on, let's get everybody up here. Thank you. Sure. Hey guys, get up here. Let's have a big group picture. Come on. Yeah, get it back with me. Hey guys, come in. All right. Hey guys, pop in here. Come on.
Back it in.
We need the big guy with that couch. Come on, get in here. Come on, Skip. Come on, Skip, get in here.
Eric, don't let your cowboy have it.
Come on, Skip, get in here, bud.
Hey guys, after the group photo, let's line up over on this side. Mr. Trump would like to take a picture with you guys, so if we can line up over here, we'll get it set up, and you guys can come through in a line, just circling around. Okay?
All right, what do we want to say?
Make America great again.
Make America great.
How about we say Trump on 3? Okay. Ready?
Ready?
1, 2, 3.
Trump!